Welcome students. Till now we have seen what are rational numbers, what are irrational numbers, how to prove them, how to find the decimal expansion, how to judge a number is rational or irrational on the basis of their decimal expansion. Now we will continue further with the topic of surds. Now before that, let us look at one more example which is important for your knowledge because you have done it in previous classes. So let's see this. If we have the number 22/7. This is, at a look of it, you can say it is a rational number because it is in the form of p/q and both are integers. If this is a rational number, then either its decimal expansion should be terminating or non-terminating repeating kind. So let's see what is the decimal expansion of this number. So if we divide 22/7, we have 3. 3 times is 21. Then we have a point here, 7 one time. Then again we have a 0 here, 7 4s are 28, 7 2s are 14. Then we have 6 as remainder, again copy down 0. Then 7 8s are 56. Then 4 is the remainder, 7 5s are 45. Again 5 is the remainder, copy down 0, 7 7s are 49 and we have remainder 1, then again 0, 7 1s are 7 and this continues from here. So this whole part is repeated. After this 1, 4 will occur, 2, 3 and so on. That means this whole part is the repeating part. So therefore I can say that 22/7 is a rational number. However, in class 7th or in class 8th, you must have studied in mensuration where you had come across the formula for circumference of a circle or area of the circle, pi r square, where this pi was given to you. And whenever this value of pi was there in the question, involved in the question, you were given this value as either 3.14 or the value 22/7. Now this pi is neither equal to this 3.14 nor equal to this 22/7. Just for the sake of convenience of calculation and ease of calculation, the authors provide these values because there you can see this 22/7 has 3.14 something and therefore they provide this approximate value. So whenever in a question pi value is provided, it is always the approximate value. It is not the actual value. Now what is this actual value of pi? Many mathematicians and philosophers have worked upon this value of pi. In higher mathematics, you would learn the procedure to find out what is the value of pi. Just like we had the value of √2 by long division, which was an unending decimal expansion, same way we have the value of pi as well. Therefore, we consider pi also as an irrational number. Whenever we have pi as an irrational number. Why am I telling you this? Because in your mind, the value of pi is always 22/7 or this. This here is repeating kind and this value of pi, which is approximate value, this you can see is terminating. Terminating decimal expansion and repeating decimal expansion only come under the category of rational numbers. But exceptionally, pi is an irrational number which has an unending decimal expansion. Just at the end of the video, I would be providing you with the values of pi and √2 till a certain stage. To begin with the next topic, let us see a few examples. We have already known that square root of 9 is 3. And say for example, cube root of 8 is 2. We have these values with us. This can be written as 9 is equal to 3 square and this can be written as 8 is equal to 2 cube. Just have a look here. Thus, this means that 9 can be expressed as some power of integer. Okay. Again 8 also can be expressed as some power of integer. That means these nth roots I can express as an integer. But what about this value? √5. What about cube root of 7? Is it possible to express these two values as some integer like we have expressed here. We can't find any value so that I can express root 5 as some integer or cube root of 7 as some integer. So all those values which cannot be expressed as nth power of some integer, those values will be called as surds. Alright, let us have a look at a few more examples. So other examples include 4th root of 17, 5th root of 23, 5th root of 2 and so on. So all these you can find, these cannot be expressed as nth power of an integer. Hence they will be called as surds. So if we write the general expression for surds, what do we write? A is a rational number and a to the power 1 upon n will give you nth root of a. As I told you about the definition of surds, this rational number a cannot be expressed as nth power of any other rational number. Fine, so this is the general form of surds. So this is known as surd of order n. Nth root of a is known as surd of order n. Now there are a few properties which we need to know regarding the regarding how surds are operated. So we can see that if a is the surd of nth order raised to the power n. See again, a is the surd of nth order raised to the power n. As we used to do in the square root. The square of a square root is the number itself. So this will give the number itself, which is a. For example, let's take the simplest example. Now here n will never be 1, it starts from 2 and 2 is not written in the square root index. So we write this and this raised to the power 1 by 2 is nothing but 2 itself. This is the first thing. Second property is if a is the surd of nth order which is multiplied by b which is the surd of nth order. Now here we see order is same. Then the product will be AB which is the surd of nth order. Okay, A is the surd of nth order, B is the surd of nth order. So this AB will multiply to give nth root of AB. Third one is regarding division. When A is the surd of nth order and is divided by B which is also the surd of nth order, then the division can be written like this. A upon B which is the surd of nth order. So these three properties are there. Let us see an example for this one. Simplest root 2 into root 3 gives, or let's take cube root of 2 and cube root of 3 will give me cube root of 2 into 3 which is 6. Same way 4th root of 2 and 4th root of 3 will give me 4th root of 2 by 3. That's the property. Now let us have a look at how do these surds operate with respect to addition, subtraction, multiplication and division with other surds. So first let us see how it is multiplied with a rational number. Suppose 3 is multiplied with root 5. Okay, so this will give me nothing but 3 into root 5, not root 15. 3 will be, this 3 is a rational number and 5 is irrational. When they multiply, they will multiply in this form. 3 will not go inside unless 3 also is in the root form. Okay, so this is the multiplication of any rational number with irrational number. This is first case. Second example you can see. If root 3 is added to root 5, you will not write this as root 8. These two are separate irrationals, so they will not combine to give root 8. Same will be applied for minus as well. This will not give you under root of minus 2 because 3 minus 5 is 2. Simply it's not happening like that. So if they are given, they will be treated as variables x and y. Suppose this is x, suppose this is y, you will treat them separate variables. They are not like terms. But when we have been given same terms like root 3 plus root 3, okay, now this will become, I have told you to treat them as variable. If this is x, this is also x, So x plus x will give me 2x. So this will become 2 root 3. Alright, and not root 6. Just don't simply add 3 plus 3 to give 6. That is wrong. Treat them as variables are treated. Okay. Same way, if I am given C 5 root 2 minus 3 root 2. So I told you treat these numbers root 2 and root 2 as variables. So if you imagine in your mind, you don't have to write this, just imagine 5x minus 3x. What does it give? 2x. So the answer would be 2 root 2. 5 root 2 minus 3 root 2s. It will give 2 root 2. Okay. So that's basically how the surds are treated. Let's see one more example. How, if some surd is given, how to solve it. Suppose it is given root 45 minus root 5. This you have to solve and find the value. Now we have already learned that every composite number has prime factors. So we can write prime factors for 45. 3 into 3 into 5 minus root 5. Now you have learned in the square roots that whenever a pair of value is there, you can take the value outside the root so that it becomes a square root. So we can take this pair outside singly and write 3 root 5 minus root 5. Now as I have said that treat them as variable. So imagine 3x minus x. You can take common or you can simply write the answer. Answer is 2x. So what do we get here? 2 root 5. You can also take root 5 and root 5 common. Let's see how. If I take root 5 common, as we have done last year in factorization, 3 minus 1. Because this root 5 is taken outside, here remains 1. So we have root 5 into 2. And the very first property which we have seen just before this, if a rational number is multiplied with a surd, we write it as 2 root 5. This will not give root 10, this will give 2 root 5. Hence this is your answer. Now since I have been telling you that these surds are to be treated as variables x and y are treated, that means some algebraic properties will be applied here also. Now last year we had learned the formulas for a plus b whole square, a minus b whole square, and also a square minus b square. We are all quite familiar with this. So let us operate on this root 2 plus root 3 whole square. How do we get that answer? How do we solve this? So since it is based on a plus b whole square, root 2 can be considered as a, root 3 can be considered as b. So first term square, that is root 2 square, plus second term square, plus 2 times of first term into second term. See again, first term square, second term square, then 2 times of AB, which is a, where a is root 2 and root 3 is b. So we can evaluate this. This will give the square and square root will cancel to give the value 2. Then we have 3 plus. And if I multiply 2 surds, it will give under root 6. So basically I can add the whole numbers. 5 plus 2 root 6 is the answer. These cannot be added because they are not of the same type. This is a rational, this is irrational, I cannot add them. So hence I get a result as irrational number. Fine. So basically how you have applied the whole square formula for a plus b, same way it will be treated here also. And again if I want to find a minus b whole square, simply the sign will change for the third term. Same kind of example you can take and try. So let's take the example for a square minus b square. Now what is a square minus b square? A plus b into a minus b. So let's write root 3 plus root 5 multiplied with root 3 minus root 5. Okay. Simply it is a plus b, a minus b. Directly I can write a square minus b square. Root 3 whole square minus root 5 whole square. So this is nothing but 3 minus 5, which is minus 2. Now what kind of number is minus 2? A rational number. So you can see when I am multiplying irrational with irrational, I can get irrational also. When I am multiplying irrational with irrational, I can get rational also. Fine. So this process is called rationalization. That means you are turning irrational into rational. That's why this process is called rationalization. And these two factors will be called rationalizing factors. They are called rationalizing factors. We will build on this concept in the next lecture. What is rationalizing? What is rationalization? We will study more in the next lecture. Now one more property. Suppose you are given a plus p under root b is equal to c plus d under root b. You can see under root b and under root b are equal, and these two rationals are equated. That means this left hand side is equal to this right hand side. So I can say from here that a is equal to c and p will be equal to d. Okay, when two rationals are given equal such that this value is same, then I can say the whole number part a and c will be equal, and this multiple p and d will also be equal. This is a very important result. It will be applied in the questions also. So keep this result in mind. Suppose I am given the question 2 plus b root 3 is equal to a plus 2 root 3. Fine. I am given that this irrational number and this irrational number are equal. So by this result, what can I say? First two terms, whole number terms will be equal. So a is equal to 2. What else? Root 3 and root 3 are equal. Therefore, b value is also 2. Okay, it's a coincidence, both are equal here. But here, this concerns with this whole number and this concerns with this factor. Fine. Suppose I am given a under root b. So if I want to take this a inside, I will have two factors of a. Fine. So I can write this as under root of a into b. Whenever I take a whole number which is multiplied inside the root, it will be multiplied twice. So what will this become? A square b. This is the value. Suppose I have been given 2 root 3. This will be nothing but 2 into 3 under the root. That is going to give root 12. So now that you are familiar with the irrational numbers and surds, if I am giving you a collection of surds or irrational numbers, then how will you find which is the greater and which is the smaller? How will you arrange it into ascending or descending order? That is what we are going to see. So if I want to arrange a collection in ascending or descending order, then there can be two types of questions which are going to be asked. The first collection we can take is 4 root 5, 5 root 3 and 6 root 2. Okay. Next collection we can take is under root 3, cube root of 5 and 4th root of 8. Now see the difference. Here these values are multiples. They are multiplied with the surds. But here we have cube root, square root, cube root and 4th root. So that's the difference between these two types. So how are we going to arrange them in ascending or descending order? Let's see. So this I have told you, if I want to take this number inside the root, I take all these inside the root and compare. Fine. So I can write this as, or this number will become 4 into 4 is 16 and 16 into 5 is 80. Then this number will become 5 into 5 is 25, 25 into 3 is 75. Then we have 6 into 6 is 36, 36 into 2 is 72. So we can see these numbers are there. Now it is easy for us to check because 72 is less than 75 and hence the greatest is 80. So we can arrange 72 is less than root 75 is less than root 80. Therefore, now we can write the original values. 72 was 6 root 2 is less than 5 root 3 and which is less than 4 root 5. Hence, this is my final ascending order. If you want the descending order, just reverse it and write it. Now, my second type was root 3, cube root of 5 and fourth root of 8. Now, how to begin with this one? We will see the order of surd. First, we will see what? Order of surds. Here the order is 2, here the order is 3 and here the order is 4. Now, next step would be to take the LCM of these orders. So, LCM of 2, 3 and 4 will give me 12. Now, with this LCM, what I am going to do is, I will convert each of these surds into 12th root. Okay, see how? Now, this root 3 can be written as 3 to the power 1 by 2. Okay. Again, cube root of 5 can be written as 5 to the power 1 by 3. Now, fourth root of 8 can be written as 8 to the power 1 by 4. Now, we have to manipulate these powers in such a manner that base will be same. That means here base will be same. But the powers denominator will become 12. Again, see what I said? This 1 by 2 I have to change in such a manner that this base is same for every case, but this denominator becomes the LCM. However, when I solve this, I should get 1 by 2. So, what number should I place on the numerator so that I get 1 by 2? Simply 6. Fine. What should I place in the numerator here so that I get 1 by 3? We can write 4, because 4 1 times and 4 3 times will give 1 by 3. Then again, here we can place 3. Have a look again. What we are doing is, we are manipulating this power, this exponent, having the denominator 12 everywhere, but simplification gives me 1 by 2, 1 by 3 and 1 by 4. I hope that is clear. So now this can be written as 3 to the power 6, 4 to the power 1 by 12, 5 to the power 4, 4 to the power 1 by 12, and lastly 8 to the power 3, 4 to the power 1 by 12. Now let's evaluate this and find these values. What is 3 to the power 6? We have 3 square is 9. So we have 9 cube, and 9 cube is 729 to the power 1 by 2. 5 to the power 4 is 625 to the power 1 by 12. Sorry, this is 12. So this will give 512 to the power 1 by 12. Now we can compare these values, whichever is greater and small. So naturally 512 to the power 1 by 2 will be less than 625 to the power 1 by 12 is less than 729 to the power 1 by 12. So write the original values. This is represented by fourth root of 8 is less than third root of 5 and is less than, or cube root of 5, which is less than square root of 3. So this is my ascending order. Again, have a look what we have done. Whatever values were given to me as the question, I first checked their order of surds and took out the LCM. Now the aim is to make these powers, we have converted them into exponent form, and then we have made these powers having denominator that LCM, which is 12, and then we have manipulated. So when we have simply applied the laws of exponents and have made powers same in all. You can see 1 by 12 is power same for all. When power is same, numbers can be compared. Hence we are able to find the ascending or descending order. So I am given this collection of real numbers and I have to find in this question what is the greatest and the smallest number out of the 4 given numbers. So let us see. We can write this as minus 5 under root 11. Then this can be written as 2 will go inside, so 4 into 5 is 20, and this can be simplified as minus 5 upon 2. So we can see we have 2 positive and 2 negative numbers. So definitely between negative and positive we can decide from where we have to compare. So these two are negative. Smallest of the negative is minus 5. This is the smallest. We are just required to find the greatest. Definitely this will not be the greatest. Between these two, this is the greatest. So this was what we were required to find. So that's all for this lecture. Answer key for the previous homework has been attached with this video. There are hints given in the answer key. Please try to follow those hints and do the questions. Thank you so much.